Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at another Studio 86 Transformer toy. And this time around we're taking a look at Blurr. Now Blurr was intended to be shown earlier this month, but for some reason my video equipment corrupted the data on part of it. However, in that stead, one of my buddies, Cobra Island, did already do a review of this toy, so thanks for doing that, buddy, but now it's my turn for me to actually do the review. Now, of course, this is depicting Blurr from his appearance in the 1986 animated film. And he comes, of course, like with all the other studio toys, a backdrop from his film, which depicts the Battle of Autobot City. Now, of course, to give him a good compatriot to be with him for this would probably be to give him Kingdom Ultra Magnus to give him his orders. And they don't look too bad here next to each other. And of course, a little history here on Blurr. Blurr was first released in 1986 as part of the many toys that were promoted for the 1986 animated film. And this here was the original one from Generation 1. Noticeably, the nose of his vehicle became a shield. And he has little plastic wheels that would allow him the alternate mode to roll across the floor. Modern one here will lack all of those, as it goes for a more stylized appearance to look more like the hover car. And of course, the nose of the vehicle is on the back. Supposedly, according to the Transformers Wikia, this can be removed, and you can awkwardly place it on his arm to be used as a shield, if you are so inclined to do so. But I really wouldn't recommend it. Now, of course, the original toy would only be on shelves for 1 year, because in the following year of 1987, Blurr, like many of the other movie character heroes, would get reissued as a Target Master. So, as you can see here with the two side by side, the colors would be slightly different. And of course, the holes on his hands would be expanded to allow for the figure gun to be mounted. So no, you can't unfortunately swap the G1 shields. Let's take a look at Blurr's accessories. We'll start with his gun. It's listed as an ordinary blaster. Then unfortunately, as you can see when compared to his Generation 1 gun, it does not really retain any of the design aesthetics from the original. Or at least it carries over very few. Like, it does have the raised bit here near the front of the barrel. But beyond that, it really doesn't retain any of the design from the original. And that's a bit of a disappointment, especially as so many of them have. Otherwise, his second accessory is this spark welding arm. Which didn't see much use in the movie, but I would assume this is part of Blurr's tools that he was using to weld hull plating back onto their ship when they crashed on Junkion. And that covers Blurr's accessories. Let's take a quick look now at Blurr's articulation. And when compared to his Generation 1 version, he does have significantly more articulation. His head can be turned from side to side, and it does look up and down a bit. His arms can be raised out about so far, and they do rotate at the shoulder all the way around. You can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees, and it does have a swivel at the bicep. So he does have some G.I. Joe battle grip. He can be twisted at his hips. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He also does allow for some rotation at the thigh. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So, Blurr does have quite a lot of range of motion. Now let's take a look here at transforming Blurr. The first thing they have us do is turn him around so that we can raise the nose cone from his back. Just pop it free and fold it all the way up and over his head. Just exactly like that. Then we're going to take the chest piece here, which seems to be the cockpit, and we rotate it around, and it should connect to the little post that was on the nose, just exactly like that. And down here beneath it, after we've rotated it, is a little panel to fold out, which would be the driver's seat. And now we raise Blurr's arms up into the classic I surrender pose, because we need to open up these panels beneath his arms, and then we fold the cones up and over his hands. Then they have us rotate them here at the elbow. Once you got them facing you like that, you just fold those down to cover his hands. And now we come down here to his legs, because we are going to open his legs up from the back side, from the sides here. They open up. They're supposed to open up one way. There we go. We got one of them opened at least. They open up from under the kneecap and fold out like so. So we turn him around. Underneath one of them, you'll see a fin that you fold out like so. And then, of course, we're going to straighten out Blurr's feet like that. And we turn him around to face the right way, and then you're going to fold the legs up and over. Then once you've done that, then you'll line up the posts and holes and connect his legs. Now the difficulty in doing this stems from the different posts, because you'll have a circular hole here and you've got a rectangular hole. So I'd try to advise you to line up the rectangular one and slide it in and then connect it at the back. Then you can finish folding it down like so. Then once we got the legs connected, you'll fold the side panels of his legs back underneath. Remember to keep the feet straight, because they're going to act as his support. Now we come up here to the arms. We're going to pull the arms out and stretch them back, because these pieces here that his shoulders had been on are now going to get folded under the body. Or they just pop free too. So do bear that in mind. They do pop free very easily. But once you get them folded under, there's a post on the foot that will connect to them to help hold them in place. There we go. Got the other one free to post in. Just exactly like that. And then we're going to bring the arms all the way to the back, and then they connect onto 3 posts. One back here against the legs, one right near the cockpit, and a vertical one right on the nose. So you will want to slowly connect them. But of course, there's an error in the instructions that you've got to double rotate the arm like that, and then rotate it again at the wrist so that you have the hole lined up. I've been through the instructions on this toy numerous times, and I still catch myself messing that up. So, we'll get it right over here. And then connect and line up and down. Of course, the seat falls down too while you're doing this. But there we have it. There's Blurr in his alternate form of a hover car. And of course, we'll put here the Generation 1 original next to it for comparison's sake. And it's raised up considerably due to how the legs fold underneath it. The sad part is that since the original doesn't have the locking mechanism that this new one does, it's a little hard to keep the old one's arms in position due to wear and tear. And of course, Blurr can also store his gun, as the gun can be connected via the end grip here to this post underneath the nose. And then you would just attach the spark welding arm to help hold it in place. And that gives you an attack form of the car. Looks kind of silly, especially when you compare it to the Target Master version. But at least the Target Master version of Blurr doesn't have to worry about catching the gun on protruding ground while going at the super high speeds. Especially when you consider the fact that a number of years ago, Forbes magazine listed Blurr as the fastest fictional car, outdoing the Mach 5 from Speed Racer by about 500 miles an hour. Go Speed Racer indeed. Now we get down to my thoughts. I like this new version of Blurr. It is a significant improvement upon the original toy. Granted, it does have a few problems with it. I'm not a fan of the leg connection when you fold it over, because it is a bit of a pain to get it to connect. And if you think it's a pain to connect, wait till you try to transform him back into the robot. But it does also improve upon the original, since, like I said, with 3 posts to connect the arms to the side of the car, these aren't going to be drooping like is commonly seen on the original toy. So, this is definitely a nice improvement on the original toy, and certainly a must-have for any fan of the 86 animated feature. And that concludes my review of the Studio 86 version of Blurr. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and join our ranks. Make sure to ring the bell so you'll be notified when we post new content. We also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That helps this channel grow immensely. And also share your thoughts about Blurr in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.